Hello and welcome in. It is Sunday evening here as I am coming in for our collective week ahead card pulls here after quite a busy week that we are coming out on the other side of the beginning of eclipse season and Mercury now stationed retrograde joining Venus and a whole lot of other weather that we are navigating together. And we're coming into another turning point this week. You can see that we're lit up a little bit here, and I'm bringing in the green for a number of reasons. But of course, as we step into a new week, we have St. Patrick's Day coming in for all who observe, and just kind of will tie in some energetic meaning that we can all tap into with the frequency of that day with some intention, along with the turning of the wheel and the beginning of spring and a new astrological year with the arrival of Aries season this week as well. So it is a big one, and it does have some beautiful energies that we can tap into. So I'm bringing out the frequency of hope, positive mindset, along with the emerald, renewal and recovery. And I love this one. We've seen this many times. It's a beautiful balm for meeting us wherever we are in this process of rebirth that we're undergoing. So no matter where you are in the world, whether equinox is bringing in spring or it's bringing in the autumn season, it is a season of change and transition where we have opportunities to turn over, release, and clear, and then plant some new, or go into that state of being in release and rebirth that comes on the other side. So really beautiful time for us to be tuning in, and also just sort of being gentle and giving ourselves some space for all the R's. When we're in retrograde, we're talking about rest, renewal, reviewing, all of the things that are about allowing ourselves to recuperate, renewal, and recovery as we bring in that beautiful emerald green ray as well for some healing. And we're going to tap into our decks here. We have, of course, the Curious Creatures that we've been enjoying so much for our tarot messages for the week ahead. Of course, we're going to pull a Seasons of the Witch Ostara Oracle card for this week as we bring in that beautiful season. And we are going to pull a little punctuation mark for our messages this week from the Fifth Agreement. So as we come in here, I'll get into some of the astrological weather. We have a few different things to talk about in terms of the cosmic skies and the energies that they're creating available for us to be mindful and navigating those in flow as best we can. Now, I'm going to start shuffling our tarot cards. And again, this is where you are invited to tune into our spread, with each day having an intention for our collective. For anyone, whenever you come across these messages, there's something in there for you, but you're always invited to take what resonates, leave the rest. That's how it works with the collective reading. There's always somebody there to pick it up. But if you would like a personal card pull this week, I invite you to let me know either by quick reply here on Marco Polo in the Sharecast, or in whatever way works for you. And we can tune in more specifically for you to see what's coming up. But each day of the week is going to be a placeholder for energies that'll be working together throughout the week, bringing in some insight and guidance for, again, energetically, a very big week with a new astrological year arriving with a new season, and just really being in this moment of all, whether we're talking about this pause and review with retrograde, or the momentum that's building with that fiery Aries energy coming in with the turning of the wheel. So shuffling up and talking about Monday, where again, it is March 17th that we'll be bringing in St. Patrick's Day, which can be seen as a celebration of renewal. It's aligning, of course, with the energy of spring and symbolizing rebirth, growth, and new beginnings. And also there is a connection for unity as well, with the shamrock representing interconnectedness of mind, body, and spirit, or the unity of all life. So you see some shamrocks out here I was just getting for my kids for school tomorrow. If they are interested in wearing any flair, they have the opportunity to participate in that. So in getting out all of the St. Patty's flair, I decided to bring these in and light up our space here to infuse some of that beautiful energy, along with resilience and transformation, because it honors overcoming challenges and turning adversity into strength, much like St. Patrick's journey. So whether you are knowledgeable of the history on that or not, it is a frequency that's available to tap into in whatever way it may resonate with you. It speaks to nature's wisdom, a reminder for us to connect with the earth, its cycles, and the healing power of nature. And also community and joy, a time to come together, to celebrate shared humanity, and to spread kindness and positivity. It's a symbol of hope. Again, as we brought in this beautiful energy, little matchy-matchy being noted, symbol of hope, encouraging us to trust in the journey, embracing change, and to find light even in difficult times. So again, and there's other things going on as well. I know Holi was being celebrated this weekend in the Hindu community. And these things make a difference when there is a collective that's tapping into a frequency that, again, is helping to raise the vibration on the planet. So as for me, any opportunity to put energy into more of that sounds good. So with that, let's see what's coming in to set the tone for this week with Monday's card from our Tarot of Curious Creatures. Four of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, I'm still geeking out because there's definitely cards in this deck I have yet to see so far this month. This one is really giving me the color scheme. So that's interesting with the different shades of green that are showing up. And an opportunity for us to tune into that energy of perhaps release and letting go of things that we've been holding on to rather tightly. And that may be something that's becoming really apparent to you on the other side of that blood moon eclipse. Definitely one that was bringing up abrupt endings, changes, shaking things up, and bringing us into these powerful portals of transformation that are just now being set into motion. So we'll see where that takes us. Tuesday, it's one that presents for us a potential block or challenge this week. So we're always very curious about what's coming up there. Let's see what we get for Tuesday's energy. Page of Wands. Okay, yeah. So Page of Swords. I was seeing that red and I was thinking, oh yeah, the fire, Aries, but actually we've got air energy coming in with the Page of Swords. So that is something for us to tune into. That red is definitely getting my attention, along with the hummingbird again. This is something that was coming in over the first few weeks of March when I was away, and I had an actual hummingbird visitor coming in when I was in California. So again, the frequency of love and joy and being present in the moment, potential block or challenge. So in what way is it difficult to stay in joy and stay light? And in this case, the Page of Swords brings in a degree of just curiosity and wonder and new ideas and new thoughts, all while we're in this retrograde energy of stopping and being taken back over things that may make it a little difficult to turn the page, is what I'm feeling there. So we'll talk about that for Tuesday. Wednesday is our midweek blessing. So let's see what we have coming in with Wednesday. And that's going to be the 19th. Okay, 9 of Swords. Now, I know on Wednesday we have some astrological weather coming through, so we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. 9 of Swords is bringing in, I'm definitely getting pulled into that red, getting grounded and feeling like we are safe and secure in our base is something that we will continually being directed as best serving us in the midst of things on the outside feeling unsettled. And yes, this is the card of nightmare energy and fear and things often not real, but they certainly feel that way. So, there's a lot of energy that we can tap into here, but there's wisdom as well. So I do feel this happening as a midweek blessing is going to be helpful for us to explore. Thursday is the equinox, the sun moving into Aries, and the start of a new astrological year. So we're pulling that card here for how we are growing, and then we're going to pull a Seasons of the Witch. I am in the process of getting ready to prepare my equinox altar. Yes, it's spring equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere, but for anyone in the Southern Hemisphere, I also have autumn equinox spread available that I will be putting out, my very special twice a year, since I offer them at both of the equinoxes, spring and autumn equinox spreads. So that's a very special reading I do with some super fun festive seasonal decks. And I'll be sharing more about that here at the top of the week when I get that altar all set up tomorrow. I'm going to have a really special offer where you can have one of those readings. They're going to be available through April 20th, and you can save on that reading when you are joining me for the Empowerment Pack for April as well. So there's going to be some special offerings there with the equinox reading and the upcoming April Empowerment Pack. It's going to be a huge month to really connect, to get grounded and anchored into some guidance, insight, and empowerment as we move through a lot of what will be on the other side of what's being stirred up and churned up here in March. So there's going to be some really big things happening in April to stay tuned for. So Thursday's card for equinox and the new astrological year is bringing in our midweek blessing. The world. I love it. So yeah, we're coming full circle. The world turns and we come back to this center point. And again, it's you at the center of your universe. And so we continually here in the Year of the Hermit are brought back to self and going within and finding that balance and peace and wisdom and groundedness within self. So I'm really feeling that here. Also, the fox has been coming up quite a bit as a totem. So that's interesting that we are seeing a little nod there. Let's switch over here to pull with that our Thursday equinox Ostera energy coming in here from the Seasons of the Witch. So we're asking for a card. Now, this is a deck that I will be using with the equinox reading. So if you get a personal equinox reading, we use a really cool tarot deck called Nature Spirit Tarot. And I'll be pulling in some other bonus messages for you from your higher self, some self-care, and of course, a message here from the Seasons of the Witch, and whatever else Spirit guides me to bring out when I set up that altar tomorrow. So let's see what's coming. Oh, that one. Ooh, Community Garden, card 7. To be in community is to be part of something greater than you could have ever imagined. Beautiful. Wow. So yeah, that's got definitely multiple meanings as I'm feeling into that with community and this sense of, like I was saying, anything of a high vibrational frequency with intention is available for us to tune into those energies as a collective, where we can, when we can, and we each bring something unique to that garden. So I think that's really beautiful as well. We're going to pull our Friday card and then our fifth agreement message. And we'll get into some of that astrological weather and our intuitive messages for the week. So one last card here. Yeah, holding it right. Friday, what's coming in to wrap up the week for our tarot messages for the collective. Friday. The Hierophant. This one was popping in this weekend. I was talking to my friend and we were chatting on all things Hierophant. So that's interesting because this is about higher learning and spiritual ascension and also the energies of teacher, student, becoming sort of a apprentice in learning new things and new understandings and awarenesses, all while it also denotes, and I love the old-timey radio here, because the Hierophant also speaks to traditional systems of things like government, religion, financial institutions, all of the things that and it's interesting because these are two major arcana cards finishing out the week, the World and the Hierophant. So as the wheel turns and we move into a new astrological year, a new season, the Sun in Aries, we have two major significant stops along our Fool's journeys coming in with the World, culminating, completion, starting new chapters, and we roll into this beautiful energy of spiritual ascension and learning and creating of new systems, new paradigms, new ways forward, all while tapping into the fun of this llama and her leg warmers. So we are going to take a look at that shortly. Let's pull our final card here. See what wants to put a punctuation mark. I've really been enjoying these very simple but very poignant messages. And I've found, especially in the personal card pulls for people, a lot of beautiful breadcrumbs that led me down a number of trails personally last week, just kind of piecing together a lot of the signs and symbols, the colors, all coming together with these simple messages. So let's see, one card for us here collectively this week. What's coming forward for us? Haha, coming back around with that hummingbird energy. I am here to enjoy life. So once again, and we had this, this came up last week, actually, with the potential blocker challenge as the Four of Wands. And remember, there was that archway of roses. And the challenge was, in this retrograde energy, stopping and taking us back over things and having us look under the hood, having us strip away the wallpaper and the layers down to the bones of the house, right? Meaning the house being the structure, the foundation, the framework of our systems, of our ways of being in our lives, in our microcosms, and then how that's rippling out into the collective in the macro. Stopping to smell the roses, stopping to be here now and be present in this moment. I am here to enjoy life. And the message says, I am not here to suffer. I am here to be a dreamer, to be an artist, to be a seer. The mission of my life is to enjoy every single moment of my life. Yeah, always so beautiful and profound to say that if I understand that to be the baseline, if I understand that to be the premise from which everything else is built and planted and tended to in our spiritual garden, and as we'll talk about this with our Four of Pentacles as well, that it always comes back to that, even though we understand that in this Fool's journey, the intention is to experience it all and to have that contrast to say that, yes, there is suffering and that both things can be true as we hold space and acknowledgement of that, understanding that we come back to that base of that intrinsic right and way of being, that we all come from this place of being here to enjoy life and to come from that space. So I think that's a beautiful reminder, again, with the smelling of the roses that we're seeing for the second week in a row. All right, let's get to some of this astrological weather, and then we will roll into our messages. All right, so let's begin here with some energetic weather, and we're going to start with a little look back here where we find ourselves reviewing in that retrograde energy. I talked about this last week as a preview. We're going to go back over it again as any proper retrograde would. Yesterday, March 15th, as I'm recording this, Mercury stationed retrograde in Aries. So Mercury, the planet of communication, has descended into the underworld, joining Venus. So this is something I've talked about quite a bit, but of course, you are likely now, if you weren't before, beginning to feel those effects. With Mercury and Venus retrograde at the same time, so close to this eclipse that we've just moved through, and of course here in eclipse season, it's definitely a challenging and powerful combination. So it really seems that whatever sudden endings or turns that the eclipse is bringing really need time to marinate and evolve before we can rush in and understand things. So the guidance is to move slowly. Keep listening to your intuition. It will be your guide. Getting grounded, coming back into your center. Mercury will remain retrograde until April 7th. So again, this is where we're being impacted in our communication, and being in the sign of Aries, it can get a little heated, a little fiery, a little short fused. And then with that, Venus retrograde in Aries as well. Again, bringing that extra heat and spark into relationships and those dynamics, and especially past relationship issues, coming around again in the form of exes and past dynamics, whether it's the actual ex from a relationship, friendship, partnerships of any kind, and those different dynamics, or echoes of them, and feeling a similar frequency of the ways in which we felt previously when it came to all of the things that had unfolded. And this can be taking us back, again, because we're really going deep with this, hearkening back to these different time points along the way where we had some significant energies coming in that we may be in a similar frequency now. So again, if anything specific's coming up for you and you would like a personal card pull around that, and certainly as we get into these messages, if any of them are in particular pinging for you, feel free to let me know if you would like a card pull and then what's coming in for you, and we can tune into that more specifically. Also, with the equinox readings that I'm offering, they give a very nice, both the spring and the autumn, of kind of reflecting back on the previous season that you're coming from and what was coming through and now where things are heading. And I especially love how the spring equinox spread uses the garden analogy to see what has passed and in what ways that's serving as fertilizer for the new that we're planting, and then what will be blooming and coming into fruition throughout the season ahead. So again, these are all great ways to use these tools, in a time where we can feel like there's not much we can do, when we're stuck or in a period of going back over things or just feeling the intensity of it all. What can I do? And this is where we reach for our tools. So these are some of my favorites that I'm sharing, and would love to support you in whatever way speaks to you. So now as we move into the week, March 19th, we have the Sun conjunct Neptune in Pisces. So the Sun and Neptune align once a year, and this brings in spiritual wisdom, heightened dreams, and a deeper intuition. And this is a soft energy that we can use to step into our creativity and to listen to our inner world with greater reverence. So nurturing our spiritual selves is a powerful way that we can use this energy. So spend some time recharging your auric field and treating your body as a temple. So now that's taking place with that 9 of Swords that came in as our midweek blessing. So we're going to feel into that astrological weather happening at the same time as we receive a 9 of Swords, which is nightmare energy, insomnia, and definitely active dreams and the mind. The swords are the mind, our thoughts, our beliefs, the Mercury of it all, and so we'll talk about that when we get to Wednesday. But I'm definitely, and I don't know, I had I know like 3 people yesterday I was talking to were like, I had the craziest dream last night, or into the weekend. Several people I know, myself included, just had strange dreams, odd things, vivid dreams, or remembering them perhaps more than you usually do. It's Pisces season. And now with Neptune conjuncting the Sun in Pisces, this is really that, watery, intuitive, dreamy energy that we can feel, which can, again, leave us feeling a bit ungrounded. So this is where I'm seeing a lot of red in our spread this week that's talking to us about using those tools to get grounded and coming into our body in order to navigate this and also harness it and use it for the energies that it can offer with the spiritual wisdom and deeper intuition. Thursday is the day, March 20th, equinox, the sun in Aries, and the start of an astrological new year. So happy birthday to all the Aries. It's my favorite time of the year to say, get your rams in a row, right? Aries energy coming in hot, where we may feel a spark of motivation, a little fire under the tush, and getting things lined up for a new season, new routines, opportunities for some spring or autumn cleaning and clearing out and creating space for the new. Get those rams in a row. So welcome to the start of the astrological new year. This is going to bring some welcomed, fresh energy after all the heaviness of the eclipses. Woohoo! So we may feel a little lighter or a little more optimistic about what lies ahead. It's a powerful time to set intentions for the months ahead and to celebrate all you have been through. So it's time to leave the past in the past and cultivate new beginnings. So again, beautiful, fresh energy coming in with an amazing major arcana card, the World, bringing it all together for that day. So we're going to talk more about that here in a few moments. And then final point of weather that I want to mention this week is March 22nd. So it's taking us into next weekend. The Sun conjunct Venus retrograde in Aries. This is known as a Venus star point. And this is so 322, right? 322, Sun conjunct Venus retrograde in Aries, a Venus star point. This is a power day in the Venus retrograde cycle. So it can bring some clarity and wisdom our way when it comes to whatever lessons this retrograde has been bringing up for us. We may have an aha moment when it comes to a relationship in our lives, or we may suddenly have new realizations around how we have been choosing to give and receive love in our lives. So again, that master teacher energy with the Hierophant coming in, it's going to be interesting to dip in and see kind of the culmination of this week's messages, what's coming in for us there with that also significant energy as we wrap the week up. So without further ado, let's get into our tarot spread and see what's coming up for us collectively this week. All right, kicking off the tarot messages for our week, we have this adorable Four of Pentacles. So we were getting this card so much, I think since the year started now, January, definitely February, as I go over my mind, the different decks that we've used here so far in the year. I just know that we've had a lot of that Four of Pentacles coming forward with messages that were bringing really to our attention. What have I been holding on to very tightly? What am I clinging to? What do I have an opportunity to loosen my grip on or to have some greater flexibility? What am I carrying with me and holding, even in some cases hoarding, that is no longer serving me, that I could let go of? So this Four of Pentacles comes in speaking to savings, success, financial planning and security, possessions, knowing your worth, being in flow with abundance, gratitude, and generosity. So all of the above. These are all things that are coming up, especially over Venus retrograde. There is also a look at finances and abundance and wealth as we are going back over things, unpacking maybe some of the junk in those trunks that she's sitting on there. So it says, while we're seeking to build prosperity and security, it's important to check in on our own relationship with money and the mindsets we hold around wealth, abundance, and material things. The energy of success swirls and coalesces rapidly in the fields of persistence and joy, and the Four of Pentacles opens the way to stability and savings without being laser focused on the material aspects of life. So enjoy this boost of resources and health and count your blessings as a way to remain in flow. This card reminds you to be generous and to look at your relationship with your possessions. Sometimes we hold on to our things so tightly that the energy around our expansion and growth stagnates. Loosen your grip and open your hand, yes, to receive even more. And in this way, your generous and open heart will top up your piggy bank until it spills over. So yeah, this is that energy that brings us all those things. Yes, money for sure. Pentacles is definitely going to be speaking to our money, safety, security, material possessions. So, money is a very strong form of energy currently in our system that tends to dictate a lot of other things. And so when we're being told to remember, I am here to enjoy life, when we are here to be present in the moment and to be light and free and able to flow, the notion that we are sitting on things that are actually weighing us down, whether it is a sense of lack or, sort of spinning our wheels in terms of getting ahead when it comes to abundance in our lives, and or a lot of physical stuff, density in our environments and around us, that are actually becoming burdensome. I've had this conversation so many times, even just this weekend. So I'm definitely feeling this energy. Like my in-laws were here and we were talking about like obsolete family heirlooms and things that get passed down now that, fortunately, unfortunately, as time has gone on, some of those things, especially like different sets of dishes and entertainment sets and things that were passed down that, there isn't so much of a functional use or perhaps appreciation for anymore. And yet these become burdensome in future generations to figure out what to do with them or how to navigate. And I was actually showing her some really beautiful, creative ways that I've seen artists and people using things like, for example, old china dishes and making gorgeous pieces of jewelry from them, and so many other creative ways to bring in art and expression in a way that maybe can perhaps honor the past and honor the things. This is just in one way. This can be coming up for people in terms of repurposing and finding new functionality or being able to honor something without having the weight of the physical that is being packed and carried and brought forward in a way that's actually holding space for something new that can't come in. I know a lot of people were working on decluttering and clearing things out this weekend, and 'tis the season for sure. So this is all ways in which I feel this energy just from a really, functional, straightforward way that we can experience a Four of Pentacles with some best advice for us. Now, the pig conversation coming forward here from the Curious Creatures is, I have more than enough and my life is full of prosperity because this little piggy did well at the market. Because this little piggy planned it that way. What needs planning and organization? How would greater stability allow you to let go of any scarcity you may be holding on to? When should you be more frugal in your life? And how could you give more generously? Yeah, I'm actually sitting surrounded by piles of, I'll show you, white envelopes because I was working today on old bills and things that have gathered and accumulated, and I found some surprise bills and debt and things I didn't realize that needed to be taken care of. But then I also found a little check that had been sent our way as a reimbursement that I didn't realize I've been sitting on since the beginning of January. So there's sort of while the bills I paid today well outweighed the value of the check, Wonderbar, I found a check today. So something went out and then something came in. And if I can look at that with a degree of humor and levity and just saying, hey, okay, it felt good to rip up every bit of the paper that I ripped up. And listen, guys, I want to be real. And because I still have it here, I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about so you can understand that if you feel like you're sitting on that, and I want to be getting every little last bit here, if you feel that you're sitting on that suitcase with some things, this is my pile of ripped up bills and papers that I was working on, okay? So I'm saying tarot imitating life. For real. I'm definitely relating to all of it. So yes, it is time for us to look at what we've been sitting on, or maybe stuffing in the suitcase, or holding on to with the idea that it technically was functional, or maybe we'll find a use for it, and then not realizing the way in which there's an energetic burden for what that can hold on to and weigh on us, even if it's not in front of mind. And wouldn't we rather fill that space with something that brings us joy, because we're being brought back to this knowingness that I am here to enjoy life. And this is going to perfectly flow into our hummingbirds bringing in our message for a potential block or challenge this week when we're trying to perhaps get out from under some of that junk in the trunk. So let's take a look now at Tuesday's energy. Well, it never gets old. I just realized, look at all the paper and what I just showed you, which I literally, in order to pick up that stack of ripped up bills and old mail, I just left a trail that looks like this all around on the floor. So we can't make it up. I just want to enjoy life. Who's got time for all the paperwork and the red tape and the BS? It's like, really? We have to do that? A Page of Swords doesn't have time for adulting, and me neither. So our potential blocker challenge this week, the Page of Swords, bringing in this energy of just wanting to go and have that curiosity and discovery and wonder. And again, the joy, the sweet nectar and all the things. But then how is that being challenged this week with this energy as we see it coming through here? So the Page of Swords can bring a degree of restlessness, because there's this flittering with excitement or feeling that buzz, feeling that energy. Like I said, as the Aries energy is coming in and we're stepping into that and it's heating up and there's this energy. Remember, I thought this was the wands at first when I was doing the card pulls, because I saw the red and I filled in the rest with my thoughts to say fire, feeling that spark, the fire, the Aries energy that's coming in. But like I said, this is the swords actually, which Mercury retrograde says, hold up, wait a minute, we're going back over and we're looking at these things. So it can be difficult to just enjoy and let go and smell the roses when there's paperwork or pages of things that need to be attended to, and there can be a sort of a restless energy. Also, new ideas, thoughts, and excitement coming in about learning new things, being very curious, talkative. These are all aspects of a Page of Swords, all while the energy is sort of bringing us in this. And I just heard it said the other day, that overall, we may find the energies being like 2 steps backward, 2.5 steps forward. So as we continually kind of get this go, 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 wait, slow, 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 and then ultimately we've inched ahead a half, but it is progress and it is forward moving. So finding our balance and our sweet spot in all of that, a challenge perhaps. The message here says, and I'm going to speak to also when it is reversed. While it didn't come up reversed, I like to tune into that message when we're talking about a challenge. The tails end of this card says, needing to use logic and reason, a need to organize your thoughts, all tweets and no action, a tattletale or a gossiper are other ways that an out of balance Page of Swords can present itself. And again, remember, these are the personalities of the tarot, the pages, the knights, the queens, the kings, where this can represent you or someone in your orbit or an aspect that you're being maybe encouraged to look at. Pages are the youngest of the court cards, so this can speak to the young people, the children in our lives. It can also speak to novice energy, being new at something, stepping out into something new. It's also like a student energy, perfect with our Hierophant showing up this week. So there's a lot of parallels that, again, more specific guidance just for you. A personal card pull can help to tie more of that in, but we're speaking to this on a collective level. So The message says the world is just rife with wonderful things to try and test and learn. This hummingbird page of swords is so excited to move from flower to flower and page to page in search of all the supplementary goodies to drink up. She is curious about all the paths and the methods, and she can often become quite disorganized in her never-ending flitter-flatter. I think it's me, guys. I think I'm the page of swords this week. In all the flitter-flatter, being disorganized, and a thirst for more. It may be time to just slow down and realize that you've got some frenetic energy around you that would better serve you if it were directed toward one main outlet or plan. Find that childlike curiosity without the frenzy. Sink into the joy of learning new things, remembering that you don't need to be the expert right now, and use your intense intellectual capacity to fuel your life and find novel solutions to anything that's standing in your way. Be careful not to fall into the flow of mindless chatter that strokes the ego, as any "a little birdie told me" gossip will do you more harm than good right now. Yeah, lots of resonance there. So yes, in this time where we want to be extra mindful of our communications, and we've got this reminder about watching out for things like gossip and, tattletale type energy, that it could be present. Also the scattered brain aspects of things. And I love how it's definitely speaking to a connection for sure between the potential blocker challenge this week and wrapping things up once that wheel turns and we move into the new season, that Hierophant showing up as the teacher. This is the student. So there's this energy of, again, being a novice and not needing to be an expert. I might be new to something. This could be my first time trying something, and that's okay. And that I don't have to have it all figured out before I perhaps take one inspired step, but I also don't want to be too impulsive. The hummingbird conversation here says, I soak up knowledge and my soul is at peace. We can cultivate a curious beginner's mindset and soak up all the knowledge and still remain grounded in the fact that our truth is not always the one and only truth. How do you remain open to unexpected lessons from the world? How do you avoid over-identifying with your intelligent, logical mind? How do you discern your own chatter from your own wisdom? So I love the contemplative questions here that you can kind of take away. You can journal. You can just use them to kind of think through as they come through to you, whatever speaks to you, because these are all things that are up. If we are feeling that block or challenge, or it's difficult, take some time to consider some of those things and see what comes through, is what we're getting there as well. Let's take a look now at Wednesday's energy coming in with that Nine of Swords that we were talking so much about, as it is aligning with some of the astrological weather this week. All right, Wednesday is bringing in our midweek blessing, and I love a challenge to feel into what way does the card of nightmare energy, of insomnia, of worry and anxiety come in as a blessing. Right? So we have Nine of Swords coming in here on a day that, as I mentioned with our astrological weather, actually has the potential for us to really be tapping into some of that dream-like energy with the Sun conjunct Neptune in Pisces, right? So I talked about that in the astrological weather. Now we take a look at this beautiful energy that's coming through with this wise owl. This is a barn owl specifically, and yet there is this sense of trepidation or worry because the Nine of Swords speaks to nightmares, anxiety, depression, insomnia, worries, negative thoughts, fears, and it brings forward a reminder to actively engage in self-care, bringing forward a chance to begin freeing yourself from those hamster wheel patterns of negative thinking. Because it's all in our mind. It's a mind game. It's an ego energy that we've been talking about with, entering into this space of analysis paralysis. So where's the blessing, right? Because if we acknowledge that that's possible, in what way have I been indulging this behavior of, and I talked about this several months ago when we talked about contemplation versus rumination. Ruminating on something is just stewing in it and churning it around in a non-productive way, in a lower vibrational non-productive way, versus contemplating is saying, let me get curious about this pattern of my indulging this overanalyzing things and getting all caught up in my head and looking for answers from a fear-based place as opposed to a faith-based place. We talked about this last week when I shared my old blog post of faith over fear, because fear, F-E-A-R, is false evidence appearing real, the stuff of nightmares and shadows and such. And faith, F-A-I-T-H, representing finding answers in the heart, not the head, the heart. So that's where we're beginning here with this positive look at Wednesday's energy. Oh, how dark the night can be, and yet all the best hunting happens under the stars. This little night owl is so afraid of the dark that she is missing out on her very best moments. All her intuition and instincts, all the beautiful downloads and precious exchanges with spirit, all being obscured by her own fears and worries about the future. Little creature, it's time to find the power of your wings and trust in more than just the voice of a distraught or fretful mind. It's time to fall into peace by befriending any nightmares or anxieties that are keeping you unrested and unfulfilled. Look at them head on in order to see that they are the ego's efforts to keep you safe. This is what I was just saying, a mechanism of protective messages wrapped in metaphor. The emphatic voices of the night are meant to help you heal, so hear them and ask them what they want to teach you. Pull your awareness to the present where you can rest, knowing in your heart that you are completely and totally safe, guided, protected, and infinitely loved by the universe. Yeah, I feel like there was something in there too, speaking to something I mentioned a few weeks ago was like I had this wild dream and I was using this really cool tool that I've been working with to do some dream interpretation. I was just blown away because it was like, this dream had it all. I was flying. I was, in a bathroom where I couldn't close the door and people were coming in, like all the typical dream-like themes, right? So this is kind of speaking to in that nightmare energy or in that mindscape where it just seems like a strange stew of things that we can't quite sort through. How can we look at those things as clues and keys and metaphors to things that our subconscious is communicating to us? But again, from a place of just genuine curiosity and wonder, not a fear-based place. The barn owl conversations are saying, what are you afraid of? Name it, and then watch that fear float up into the clouds and dissipate. The magical moments of the night are yours. How are you welcoming deep rest, rejuvenating sleep, and peace? Consciously program your mind by bringing comforting thoughts and relaxing imagery into your mind's eye as you fall asleep. As you drift off, what is it that you desire? What positive emotions can you pull into your awareness? So I think this is also speaking to a reminder of how we may benefit from having a nice bedtime routine, whatever that means for you. And I'm going to step to the side and say right now, I'm speaking out of my barn owl, okay? Because I do not have a very healthy evening routine. So I'm just saying, I'm getting this intuitively for all of us, but it's not because I practice it myself. So for sure, there's something in there for me. About winding down in a way that's shutting down electronics in a respectable amount of time before we go to sleep and having proper, darkness and maybe, whatever works for you in the way of music or meditation or some type of a nighttime ritual that is about connecting in with your physical self and mental to say, it's time to power down. And I am now going to gift myself with a few intentional moments before I go to bed in whatever way works for you, right? There's tons of suggestions out there, and you very well may have your own evening routines that work for you. And of course, I always love to hear that perspective as well, with helpful suggestions that could help other people. That, it's a way to begin to train yourself to wind down, to unplug as you are letting go of the cares of the day and letting that natural process happen where you're downloading all of it and offloading and all of it. Again, connections between this Four of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords, and just all the different ways that these energies, again, very swordsy, because we're talking about the mind. We're talking about Mercury retrograde being front and center here. We're talking about Pisces and Neptune. And so there's just a lot of headsiness and upper chakra things going on that, again, we're drawn to get grounded. So if you have some kind of a process for the night of, cutting cords and calling your energy back to you and getting grounded, and, some people have things like earthing blankets or weighted blankets, or I have been trying, I'll say this, I have been using a mask to sleep at night because it's not fully dark in my room between the lights coming from different, outside. And, I do have my phone near my bed, and it seems to have this glow to it even when it's on the charger, all the things that I have been trying to do that and do some mindful moments myself. But again, these are all things that come as a blessing because it's an opportunity for you to try something new. And even if it's something that you tried for a bit and it tapers off and it doesn't stick, or you tried before and you fell off the wagon, this is not coming from a place of judgment or criticism or saying you failed. It's about just letting it come into your awareness that there could be room for you to have some mindful practices when it comes to allowing your mind, your body to rest. Whether it be in the evening hours or any time, maybe even a nap could be called for, or just some power down time, unplugging and breathing, just whatever you're feeling called to. But I'm just feeling a little note about that too, from a perspective of self-care and having some ritual or practice in place that can help you to put a rhythm into practice there. Let's take a look now at the big day, Thursday, for Equinox and the new astrological year coming in. All right, Thursday, the wheel turns, and no matter where you are in the world, we have a new season coming in here with Equinox, equal amounts of light and dark in the world. Wherever you are, we're ushering in the energy of new beginnings, of endings and new beginnings. And there is no other card in the tarot that captures that than the world, the culmination of all. The ending and completion of one chapter and the beginning of a new one. And in the center of it is you. So we have that energy coming in for Thursday, for Equinox, for Aries season, and the new astrological year. And this world card is saying that it speaks to completion, finishing a cycle, success, freedom, contentment, inner peace, wholeness, travel, and the ascension process. So it says, when looking at this blissful fox vibing out on his "the world is my oyster" happy place, one might easily assume that he arrived there simply by being lucky or by bypassing all the difficult things. And by bypassing all the difficult things. And one sweet light couldn't be more wrong. True light is born of our deepest shadows, and he has transmuted and transformed his life, fully in love with who he has become. He is whole. He is imperfect. He is. And he celebrates all the things because he understands that joy and self-acceptance are paramount to spiritual growth. It's not that he has zero fox to give, pun intended. It's that he gives all the fox. And in that, he finds purpose and happiness. Contentment and inner peace arise from working with others in cycles of growth and completion. And so too are you meant to come into harmony with the world around you and celebrate this beautiful chapter. You are ready to receive your full circle happy ending. And the universe is serving up choice morsels of cycling and ascension right now. So prepare to level up with an open heart and a giant smile. You deserve this success. Yes, we have all the fox to give. Okay, I'm not going to stop that all week. That's great. 0 fox to give, all the fox to give, right? So give with all your fox when you come here into this new beginning with the wheel turning equinox. So once again, if you would like to join me for the equinox reading, I do tune into a number of altar elements, and we will be pulling a color, crystal, and spirit animal to support through equinox. And then we will tune into your personal cards from the equinox spread of your choice. Again, the spring or autumn, and some bonus messages from your higher self. So let's take a look at the fox conversations. Deep bliss can be found as we round the corner to complete our goals. How have you been working towards your dream? What circumstances have allowed you to shine your brightest? Who would you like to celebrate with? And how have you moved towards a better version of you? So even just kind of using these different checkpoints along the way. So it wasn't that long ago that we were talking about solstice, right? Winter or summer solstice, again, depending on where you are in the world. Just before the holiday season, we were tuning in with the winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere, and now the wheel turns and it becomes spring. So when you just look at that chunk of time from December 21st until now incoming March 20th, what all has unfolded, and in what way can you kind of go back over the progress that you have made during that chunk of time? And maybe there were things that you had hoped to do that you haven't gotten to yet, or that, you have an opportunity to change your story on your perspective that says, and again, I'm tapping into my own personal references and, just even my day here, where I spent a lot of time working on stuff I'd rather not be doing, so that at the end of the day, my perspective might be, how the heck is it already 7 o'clock and I feel like I've done nothing today? And actually I've done quite a bit. I have a big old pile of papers here to show me that. And yet my mind wanted to say, ugh, you didn't make it productive today, or you didn't get to XYZ. But actually there were other things that took precedence, or there were things that were coming up to the surface that needed to be dealt with, that when I look back through that lens, I can see where actually I did accomplish things. Maybe not what I thought I would or how I thought I would accomplish it, but I feel that there's an opportunity here in these messages to say, take a moment just to look at, again, this chunk of time that from, solstice to equinox, what you have done. This is the position for how have I grown? So how have you grown in that time period in terms of, even stepping into this new calendar year, what you were poised to do, and any goals, intentions, resolutions that you may have been setting? And now as we continue around to the wheel of, this is the true new year. This is the new year of the zodiac, where we begin afresh, and we start with this season that we have coming in now, that we have grown through. And sometimes that growth is measured in ways that are different from what we expect. So take some time to celebrate any growth that has taken place for you throughout this period. Let's take a look now with that, the community garden message coming in from the season of the witch. Okay, so here for equinox on Thursday, how we are growing, and from the seasons of the witch Ostara Oracle, we receive card 7, community garden, bringing forward keywords of teamwork, shared resources, and building networks. And so it says, there is something so powerful about working towards a shared purpose. One person is incredible on their own, but combine two marvelous people and amazing results can unfold. Imagine combining the shared talents of dozens of like minds, all contributing their individual knowledge, experience, and enthusiasm. Your collaborative efforts could move mountains while also fostering a sense of mutual respect and shared growth. The importance of building a supportive network as it relates to your question is underscored by this card. While you can continue this journey alone, you will find your load lightened significantly by communicating openly about shared goals and allocating resources such as time, energy, and attention equitably among partners or a group of diversely talented people. This will be heightened if you have been struggling to make significant progress. Bringing in additional support could reinvigorate your plans. You may also consider working with an advisor, therapist, teacher, or other qualified professional to bring a renewed sense of perspective to your situation. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals who share your values and aspirations. With time and commitment, you will naturally inspire each other to achieve more than you might have done on your own. So, this is bringing in that sense of community and of oneness, where I feel that as it relates to the World card, as we were just saying, and kind of going back over those intentions that we may have set and the progress that we may or may not have made, or in different ways that it's shown up, that we can kind of revisit things to decide, where do I want to invest my time, my energy, and may I benefit from connecting with others and bringing in, new ideas and perspectives and diverse areas of, like, if we're working on a project or we're creating something, or I wanted to get something off the ground that I set my goals to do in the new calendar year, and I really haven't made much progress on it, I'm saying, for example. And maybe now I'm looking at that and thinking, is that still what I want? Or am I now aware, with the contrast of just not being able to get myself going on something, that it's not an energy match for some reason, and that it's okay for me to pursue a new avenue? And again, maybe there are others with this community aspect that I can reach out to and connect with, or in some way begin to plant and cultivate something beautiful. I love that this card came up under how are we growing this week with a community garden. So a lot of different ways that we can interpret this card through the lens of equinox and the turning of the wheel and the collective, because the World card that we were just talking about here for Thursday is the individual, you in the universe, but also as a part of the collective. So each one of us anchoring in and watering and tending to our own gardens create beauty that ripples out into the collective. And when we combine those forces and come together, imagine what we can create. So that's a part of the message too. And, with the notion of bringing in additional support and reinvigorating your plans, again, something like the equinox spread, or tuning in with an intentional card pull, journaling, exercise, or something that speaks to you. And of course, what I'm offering is that reading that I'm speaking of, the special seasonal reading, but anything that works for you as your own private, personal journaling, or brainstorming and writing down ideas and things that you would like to bring into the new, are all ways that you can connect in with this energy as well. So again, I will be really tuning in when I set up the equinox altar for this week and pull in some of those altar elements and aspects, and that's where we'll be deep diving into it if you would like to join. Let's wrap things up now with Friday's card for this week. All right, wrapping up the week, finally Friday, we have Major Arcana card 5, the Hierophant. So when we talked about Tuesday with the potential blocker challenge, having sort of that student, novice energy, childlike energy, the Hierophant represents a spiritual leader, the teacher, guru energy, expansion, and it speaks to awakenings. And yes, it can also refer to religious or spiritual structures, finding the guru within. Again, don't really do predictions or anything like that so much because we're tapping in from an empowered place. But I have always said about this card, the traditional view of it reminded me very much of the Pope. And I know that that is a topic that's been in the news and on the collective and on the world stage. So I'm just noting that connection for this week as well, that it does have some of that type of energy that it carries from a collective perspective. And with that as well, the Hierophant has us looking at outdated systems or paradigms, dogma, guru complexes, and spiritual bypassing. So again, this is the heads and the tails of the energy of Hierophant. And so in a week where we have a little bit of everything coming in here from that aspect and in retrograde and all of it, I'm just covering all of those aspects for your consideration. So it says, who says profound spirituality can't be super fun? This Hierophant certainly knows it can be with her boombox and on-the-go ritual kit. She offers an alternative to restrictive and outmoded beliefs, and she wants to remind you that while she can show you the door to your higher self, she also knows that you hold the only keys to your own sacred wisdom. You are, indeed, your own best guide to the truth within you, and this is an invitation to enter the inner temple and take a devotional journey to the very center of your heart, that place where true divinity and peace reside. Along the way, you may see places where the lights have been turned off, where memories and limiting beliefs can be painful, and where healing and integration are the only way through. Work outside any systems of hierarchy or structures that require you to dim your own precious light and remain open to hearing the wisdom of those around you. Yeah. So that's definitely touching on all the things, because as we talk about along the way, you may have to see places where the lights have been turned off, where memories and limiting beliefs can be painful. This is retrograde. This is that energy of going back over things, 2 steps back to go 2.5 steps forward, right? We're clearing out, we're finishing out, we're completing these things so that we can step into the new, into the age of Aquarius, into the new paradigms and the shifts into these new systems that are being built. So in order to do that, we go back over the old, having an opportunity to really look at it and understand how it helps to inform the future. I was talking about this last week. I talked about it in the full moon, the blood moon eclipse reading, because there was such a focus on the South Node, which is representing our past and karma and where we're coming from. So we're riding these waves of energy that do have us really going back over those systems, going back over those paradigms in order to discern what we wish to build in the new and what we don't, right? Now, the Llama conversations coming in here say, Llamas don't do dogma, but we do seek out and learn from others all the time. Where is the line between teacher and guru? And how are you allowing your teachers to be? In an authentic system, leaders make mistakes and don't hide them. What comes up for you when you discover that those you learn from are imperfect? Were you guys shocked to see all my bills? Guess what? Yeah. So, and what systemic rules are no longer aligned with your honest heart? Yeah, like there's like a, like Llama be real, like Llama be real. It's about being real and being authentic and being honest in our imperfections and being more comfortable with, allowing ourselves to just give that air, versus coming from perhaps a time that's been and this is the Virgo too, and just all of this energy that we've been moving through about appearances and perfectionism and judgment and criticism and, the way things look and appearances and so many other things that I'm also getting a nod to is like, what are we learning through all of this? What have those experiences shown us? And instead of going back over them with a critical eye or tisk-tisking or feeling, again, judgmental or critical of them, actually reviewing them with a curious mind again. And this is a challenge. It's hard to remain curious, and it's hard to remain enthusiastic when maybe we're having to look at a little bit of that underbelly and things that aren't so cute, that, you know, we're being invited to have these honest conversations, cut and clear, release and shed, so that we can create new space and turn those things over and using them as fertilizer. So a lot comes to mind there. And like I said, it's going to vary for everybody. So depending on how, you know, these messages are landing or how they unfold as the week goes on, again, if you would like a personal card pull, feel free to let me know. And especially if there's any areas of interest, we can focus on that for you. If you're interested in the equinox readings, I'm going to be starting them this week. They're going to be available through April 20th. So I'm going to have more information about that tomorrow with a special booking link that's going to show you how you can get a discount on that reading when you're joining me, or if you are already joining me for April for the Empowerment Pack, the Equinox reading is available to you at a special discount. So I'm going to share that with you tomorrow once I get that altar space all set. And I look forward to moving through this big week and turning the wheel into a new season and the beginning of a new astrological year with you. So much love, many blessings to you. Happy St. Patrick's Day and happy spring or autumn, wherever you are in the world. And we will talk soon. I can't wait to see what's coming forward with the season ahead. Much love.